What's happening, folks? It's your old chuckle buddy. Guess who? Johnathan James Ramcharan, reporting live for duty on this magnificent October 2nd in the year of our Lord, 2024. Welcome and bienvenue to Johnathan Ramcharan, the podcast. Hey, folks. How you doing? If you're new to the show, Johnathan Ramcharan, the podcast, that is, this is a show where I gob, gab, squawk, and blab about myself in order to relate to y'all's self, y'all the dear listener, y'all the dear viewer. Shared experiences, kindred souls, BFFs forever. Yeah. Put me in your will. That's a recommend from the show. You can put me in your will. You know, when you kick the bucket, you die and you're dead to the world. And your fake and phony family members come crying around your bedside vigil. He's dead. Then they read the will. Motherfucker, he left everything too. Johnathan of Johnathan Ramcharan, the podcast, that is. That's how meaningful my show is. We discuss current events, politics, entertainment, the times of the times, my own trials and tribulations as a performer, stand-up comedian, actor, the whole wackadoo, the whole spread, folks. You can't go wrong. The show's available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Odyssey, Rumble, YouTube. So yes, do check us out. Leave us a like, leave us a comment. Leave us, a pair of used panties. Gross. I guess. Breaking news. Semi-breaking news last night. The vice presidential debate 2024. J.D. Vance versus Tim Walz. Tampon Timmy? Yeah. It was a humdinger, folks. I liked it. It was pretty good. I like J.D. Vance. I like that guy. I wasn't quite sure what to think of him. I don't know. He was kind of like new to the whole scene, just appeared out of nowhere. But if you have faith in Donald Trump, okay, you appreciate the Don's judgment. So I'm like, yo, if Donald Trump picked him as VP, must be something to this kid. Apparently he wrote a book and he signed in a movie. I thought he wrote that fucking song. I thought he was, I don't know. There was what's that song by Vance Joy or whatever? I want you by my side until I been alone again. Or no, there was some other Vance song. Or something Vance Joy. Hey there, take him down to the jump side. I'm gonna be your left-hand man. I thought that was him for whatever. There's this movie that I think you'll like. This girl quits her job and moves to New York City. This cowboy's running from himself. I thought he wrote that fucking song or whatever. Vance Joy? Vance J.D. Vance or whatever the fuck. But it turned out he was like a military dude. Yeah, she's destined for the screen. Closest thing to Michelle Pfeiffer that you've ever seen. I thought that was him, J.D. Vance, but turned out it was like Vance Joy, I think. I don't know. But it wasn't him anyways. J.D. Vance was like, he wrote a book, he was in the military, he did something else, I think he made a movie or something, so, I don't know, I didn't really know much about him, but then I'm like, well, if Don Trump, okay, says he gets the job, okay, then he gets the job, right? VP. That fucking Mike Pence, that fly swatting motherfucker, Mike Pence, he shit the bed. So he was not welcome back in the presidential fold. So this, this Vance Joy or J.D. Vance, I do like him. I do. So, Tampon Tim Walz, I mean, kind of one of them standing yes men. One of those dudes that no one really I don't know. He's just kind of a career politician. Just kind of exists. This is the reports, you know. Just kind of a yes man, more or less. Well-intentioned yes man. Just whatever, he's there. Yes, Mrs. Sucking up to Kamala Harris, you know. Kiss ass. Tampon Tim. Anyway, CBS, they host the vice presidential debate. Starting off with their outfits, Vance Joy. Hey there, taking them down to the Lano. I'm gonna be your left-hand man. There's this movie that I think you'll like. This guy quits his job and moves to New York City. This cowboy's running for himself. Anyway, Vance Joy, JD Vance. He was looking good. He was in them, them big baby. He was like shining them big baby blues. You got them piercing baby blues that, just really wins over middle America. You know what I mean? Just the boy next door. Got them big old fucking baby blues just a piercing through the camera. Just, wow. Real showstopper with them baby blues. Then he had the navy blue. Yeah, it was a navy blue, right? Navy blue suit jacket or suit, looking very sharp with the ambiguous pink tie. Very poignant fashion statement, kind of disarming. Is he on the left? Is he on the right? He's wearing pink. You never fucking know. Very disarming. Appeals to that like wet blanket demographic. So he looked fantastic. And he really kind of had a very approachable boy next door, rah, America, kind of clean cut kid kind of look. That's JD Vance. Vance Joy. Hey there, taking him down to the riptide. Vance Joy. JD Vance. Looking sharp. Then on the other hand, you got that fucking Tim Walz. Oh my God, what a guy. He's wearing that fucking Undertaker black fucking hand-me-down fucking PBS, public broadcasting fucking mortician suit. Looks like the guy just crawled out of a gravesite wearing a fucking black suit with that fucking Sears Roebuck fucking white floppy ass collar shirt, starched stiff, that them big old fucking neck collar, fucking Sears Roebuck white shirt with that fucking mortician black fucking suit jacket, just crawled out of a grave, big old stupid double wide fucking necktie, looking like a real ignoramus. I guess I'm going a little hard on the guy. I mean, I guess he was just wearing a suit, but, if a dude's into tampons, makes you sick to your stomach to see some of these dudes that creep up in this day and age of DEI and woke wet blanket culture. Make you sick to your stomach. So, I guess he looked all right stylistically, but whatever. And then right off the hop, there was a bit of a moderator spat, if you noticed. Like the two moderators, God bless them, I don't know them. There's no need to be mean about it. But I don't know, they're just kind of, I guess they're successful anchor women. They're news anchor women. They make a good salary, they work hard, and leave it at that. But in terms of a public awareness, they're not really a name brand recognition type, I don't think. I never heard of any of them. No offense, right? But as they were introducing themselves, the one anchor on the left, she introduces herself, right? And she goes, I'm such and such, and here we are at the fucking presidential debate 2024, vice presidential debate 2024. Yeah. She's yammering on, introducing herself and introducing the guests, the candidates, right? JD Vance and Tim Walz. she neglects to introduce her co-host. So her co-host is just like standing there like, finally she goes, and I'm such and such. She chimes in, and I'm such and such. And you could just see the distraught look in her face. And after that, she looked like she was on the verge of tears. Because like at first she had a real phony fucking fake news smile. She's all just like, but then when they neglected to introduce her, she was all like, she looked like she was about to start crying. Fake news, right? Pardon me. And again, it can be an embarrassing moment when you're on camera, and it's a kind of embarrassing. Like, as you can see, I got a bit of a cut, cut myself shaving the other day, and, I got a bit of a cut. So, it's a little embarrassing. Got a bandage. So I can guess it would be embarrassing. You're in front of the nation and they neglect, your company, your news company. You're a news anchor and your company neglects to introduce you, her co-anchor, whatever. Little moderator spat. So then it was a potential 3-on-1. It was starting to shape up like a potential 3-on-1. At one point, one of the ladies was like, she tried to fact check JD Vance. She's like, he said something about how the border, the Mexico border, U.S.-Mexico border is just a free-for-all. Come on in, whoever, whenever, however, come on in, right? Free-for-all at the border, U.S.-Mexico. And he was talking about how like drugs and fentanyl and human trafficking and all sorts of shit's coming across the border, and how there are drug mules. Children are being used as drug mules. And after he said that, the moderator turns to Tim Walz and goes, "All right, Governor, do you want to respond to that? That children are being used as drug mules?" It's like, hey, what the hell's going on here? Is this 3-on-1? Let Tampon Tim is a big boy. He's a big boy. Let Tampon Tim speak for himself. You don't have to fucking cue him up. Hey, you just were insulted. Your potential boss's whole credibility was just insulted. Do you want to say something? Like, you don't have to clue him in. If he's too dumb to know when he's being insulted, let him just stand there. Tampon Tim. Right? But slowly, I think they were coming along to JD Vance, right? Because he was very eloquent, like I said, looking real approachable and personable. Slice of Americana, boy next door, apple pie with that navy blue, pink tie combo. Big old baby blues just bouncing around. He's like talking to the ladies, answering their questions. And slowly but surely, I can see them bitches just be looking at him, right? Like, they're just like, they're still like throttled with the chokehold of feminism, but like a part of them was kind of like, you could see that their heart was starting to melt. Them frozen bitches were starting to thaw out a little bit, right? Because they're just like looking at JD Vance and they're just like, I could see the wheels in their head spinning, right? That's what a real man looks like, huh? Damn you, are you still single? I mean, so when it comes to the border, I saw them eyeing him up, right? So it's like, that's a good sign for like the nation. Like, I think a lot of personable qualities were coming out in this JD Vance that I think the American people were no doubt seeing up against Tampon Tim there. Oh yeah, and Tim Walz was always writing shit down. Every time you turn around, oh my God. JD Vance would be like, well, it's a very interesting question, Margaret. So when it comes to taxes, if you'll notice, during the Biden regime, he'd be going at it, right? And all of a sudden, Tim Walz would be like, grab a pen and he's like writing shit down. I'm like, why don't you knock it off already with all the fucking note taking? Who do you think you're kidding, buddy? You had 3.5 fucking years to take notes. Kamala Harris and her fucking regime, they had 3.5 years to be taking notes. Now all of a sudden they want to cram for the final exam. Presidential debate, he's up there with the fucking pen taking notes. What the fuck do you think? You don't got a chance in hell, buddy. Give it a break with the notes, all right? You had 3.5 years to take notes, dummy. Well, granted, I guess he was governor, not vice president, but Your whole outfit, your whole Democratic outfit had 3.5 years to be taking notes, buddy. Obviously, he wasn't taking notes in biology class, Tampon Tim. Putting tampons in the men's boys' room. What the hell are you thinking? That was one of the stories around Tim Walz. He signed into law some kind of bill or legislature. He gave the approval on tampons being put in the boys' bathrooms in certain schools, public schools or whatever. Real sick stuff. Makes you sick to your stomach. Couple dumb things he said as well. He was talking about how he, like, Tim Walz, he was talking about how he fights for the people and how he fights for, well, let me backtrack for a minute. Also, this fucking Tim Walz, does he or does he not look like a mixture between Barney Rubble and Fred Flintstone? Tim Walz looks like Barney Rubble and Fred Flintstone. With that fucking Fred Flintstone jawline, that fucking triangular Fred Flintstone jawline, real thick fucking floundery fucking jowl, them fucking jowls, you know? You got that Fred Flintstone jawline and with them beady little fucking bug-eyed Barney Rubble eyes. He looked like fucking Fred Flintstone and Barney Rubble had a baby. Called it Wham Bam or Pwebbles or something, you know? Wham Bam, yeah. Waltz Bam or something, I don't know. He looks like a mixture between Fred Flintstone and Barney Rubble, that Tim Walz, with them fucking jowls, them fucking triangular with them fucking Fred Flintstone jowls and them beady fucking Barney Rubble eyes and little beady fucking eyes darting around. Them servile, beady, darting Barney Rubble eyes and them fucking Fred Flintstone jowl. Tell me he don't look like a mixture between fucking Fred Flintstone and Barney Rubble. You just tell me. Take a look. Take a good look. All right? That's what that motherfucker looks like, all right? He looks like a mixture between Fred Flintstone and Barney Rubble, yet he has the personality of Betty Rubble and Wilma Flintstone. Riddle me that. He looks like a caveman, but acts like a cave woman, is what I'm trying to say. Tampon Tim. How do you like them apples? And again, he's a very, he's kind of a bit of a, he's a nice enough guy, well-meaning, I'm sure, but make you sick to your stomach. Can't be having these fucking wet blanket types running amok, fucking up government and stuff with their pussified fucking wet blanket ideas and impositions and fumbles, fraud. Said a couple dumb things too, that Tim Walz. At one point he was like talking about how he's a champion of like American energy, or he's pro-American, working on clean, health conscious, environmental energy. And at one point he said something like, I harvest the wind. I harvest wind. And then you see JD Vance. JD Vance kind of looks up at the screen, right? He's like, JD Vance looking at the camera. It's like, yo, did that guy just say that? I harvest wind. Yeah, you harvest a lot of hot wind, all right, buddy. I harvest wind. That was one debacle that he said. It's like, yo, man, are you even listening to the things you say? Well, fucking as a Dem, as a lifelong Dem, I guess he obviously doesn't listen to too much of what he actually says. Another fumble was he was talking about like safety in schools and how, what are they going to do to combat the safety crisis in America with kids and school shooters and stuff. And Tim Walz said something along the lines of, oh yeah, I understand what's going on. I've sat with families who've been afflicted by gun violence. I've become friends with school shooters. He said he was friends with school shooters. He was quoted as saying, I became friends with school shooters. Of course, I'm ragging on the guy. I guess it was just a mental flub during the debate, but come on. I mean, obviously, I doubt he actually meant that. Probably just a flub, but I mean, come on, bro. How do you say them words and then not even hear yourself? I became friends with school shooters. They're my buddies. We shop for tampons together. We insert them together. They're my tampon buddies. Active school shooters. Yeah. He also quoted the book of Matthew in the New Testament. It's like, how the hell's a guy who's into tampons? How the hell's a guy who approved tampons in boys' bathrooms set himself up to be quoting Matthew of the New Testament? He quoted Jesus or somebody in the New Testament in the book of Matthew. He made a quote. It's like, yo, bro, just take. It's like, does he use a fucking tampon to hold his place when he's reading the Bible? You know, he's like, better stop for a fucking pronoun meditation. He's reading the Bible. Oh, better stop now for a pronoun meditation. Take a quick little break. Puts a tampon in there as a placeholder, you know, as a bookmark. He uses a tampon for a bookmark when he's reading the Bible. I bet you 10-1. I'll bet you dollars to donuts if you go look at a fucking Tim Waltz Bible. Instead of a bookmark, you're going to find a tampon. Dollars to donuts, I bet you that asshole uses fucking tampons for bookmarks. Especially when he's reading the Bible. The Bible. Tim? I'll bet you dollars to donuts. You know? And here's another thing, too. This is like one where like he definitely got shellacked. The moderators are like, yeah, so Tim, during the student uprisals and marches or rallies or whatever in Tiananmen Square, China, 1989, you claim that you were there, front row and center, when apparently, after some research, you obviously were not. What do you have to say to that? And he's just like, I mean, to anybody who's been watching from the beginning, I grew up in a middle-class family. I grew up in a middle-class family, meaning I had middle-class family values. We rode bikes. We mowed our lawn. We had tampons in the boys' change room. We played hopscotch and marbles and tiddlywinks. And in the summer of 1989, I went to China with a dance troupe and, was out there in China with some dancers. And, but I've from day one, I've always been about the community and, skibbity-doo. Then the moderators are like, yes, Tim, but to the question, we answer yes or no. Were you or were you not in Tiananmen Square 1989, as you had claimed? Well, I wasn't literally there. I mean, sometimes things happen and people say things and that fucking, like I said, that Fred Flintstone jowl was just a flapping and the beady fucking Barney Rubble eyes were just a blinking and he's, well, as I said, he had more of a soft-spoken voice, more so like, well, as I said, as I said, things, sometimes people say things in the heat of the moment, but I have always, from day one, been about the middle class, because I come from a middle-class family. Make you sick to your stomach, the lies these fucking fake news phonies espouse. Make you sick to your stomach. Put a tampon in it, buddy. Put a tampon in it, Tim. Liar. Oh yeah, then J6, January 6th. That's where, because everything up to that point was pretty respectable. J.D. Vance was dominating. He was in control, very eloquent, very likable, and kind of communicative when discussing some pretty tense issues like abortion. I think he really made some good points. Like, we need to get, the American standard of living and way of life back up. That way women can be inspired to want to start a family and want to have more options when it comes to childbirth, and that they don't feel like they're at a deficit, or that their career is going to languish or whatever, like, make the standard of living better, make the American way of life better, make America great again, so women have a better option in starting a family instead of aborting. I think he made that case pretty good. I think he reinstated some of the common sense conservative viewpoints. 85% of conservatives believe in exceptions, In the case of the life of the mother, incest and rape, there are exceptions when it comes to abortion. And putting the whole issue of abortion back in the hands of the states. State by state, people can vote their conscience, right? So, that was the whole overturning of Roe v. Wade. So, J.D. Vance did a good job explaining and kind of holding it down during the debate on that and many other issues. But then when it came to J6, that was kind of where J.D. Vance and Tim Walz kind of dug their heels in, and, they kind of respectfully disagreed. Even the moderators were kind of pushing a bit, like, J.D. Vance, what is your position on J6? Is Donald Trump negating his loss in 2020? And will there be a peaceful handover of power and blah, 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 which is all just phony baloney, debunked baloney anyway, because what happened on January 20th, 2020, I believe, or 2021, whatever, when they transferred it over? What happened? Peaceful transfer. Donald Trump stepped out of office, Joe Biden took office, and it's already been proven. Donald Trump will change power peacefully. It's already proven. And the whole J6 thing, I mean, hey, yo, that's an issue that obviously the moderators and the debaters didn't agree on fully. And, it's still up to debate. Do you think that January 6th was wrong? Do you think that the Democrats cheated in the 2020 election? Do you think there was errors in judgment by the Democrats, by the Republicans? I mean, I guess it's all up in the air still. I know what I believe. What do you believe? Hit me up in the comments. Oh yeah, and Vance had a very good, one very good line. He had several good lines, but one that really stood out was when he was talking about homes, the creation of homes, and what are they going to do to build more homes, and what are they going to do to solve the housing crisis. And they were talking about illegal immigrants and things along those nature. And they were saying, oh, why are you blaming the illegal immigrants for the housing crisis? And why are you so hard on immigrants? And J.D. Vance said something very sharp. He goes, I'm not blaming immigrants. I'm blaming Kamala Harris, for her, neglect of the border. Just letting all these random undocumented criminals, essentially, coming from prisons, coming from S-hole countries, A-hole countries, the whole thing, just pour into the country undocumented. And they're taking away much needed resources from the American people. So he's like, I'm not blaming immigrants. I'm blaming the Kamala Harris, the border czar. So that was a good line from J.D. Vance in regards to homes, building of homes, and immigration and the border. Oh, and to sum it up, the closing speech. J.D. Vance, yeah, he gave a very good closing speech. He covered it all. If Kamala Harris, her administration actually started 3.5 years ago. She says she's going to do this. She says she's going to do that. Why hasn't she? He spoke about the importance of certain energy initiatives in America. They want to kind of drill, create more energy jobs there, which is going to boost their economy. And he did a very good job of representing Donald Trump and a very reasonable, constructive, communicative, Republican, conservative viewpoint. A very communicative and approachable conservative viewpoint. He advocated that very successfully in the vice presidential debate 2024 against Tim Walz. I would say he did that very well. He communicated it very well. Approachable, young, energetic, drew in a lot of potential undecided voters, definitely represented the Make America Great Again movement, MAGA, definitely. And I see what Trump sees in him. It's now clear to me what Trump saw in him, I see in him as well. And again, for me, it was just the unfamiliarity of the situation. It's not like I ever had reason to doubt. It's just the unfamiliarity of it. He's a young guy, very accomplished, and he's making some major strides in his career. And this vice presidential debate was a definite win. I mean, he dominated. Well, actually, that's the smart thing. He was very he was very communicative with Tim Walz. He could have pounced on him several times, like when Tim Walz fumbled during that Tiananmen Square question. He looked like a fool. He looked like a liar. He was stumbling, mumbling. The moderators they did not help out at all. They just kind of doubled down. Will you answer the question, Tim Walz? Why did you say you went to Tiananmen Square during that summer of 1989 when you obviously didn't? And they doubled down on him. And J.D. Vance, he did the smart thing. He kept it. It was like, why? The guy burnt his own bridge. He made his own bed, let him lay in it. Why double down? Why point out the fault? He let it be. He let the beef. He let Tim Walz have his dignity, and he made himself dominant while respectful, and dominant while respectful, which I think is very appealing in politics. You want a politician who's dominant yet respectful. Someone who's like, they're not a pushover and they make their points and they're taking charge, but they're building a bridge. They can work bipartisan. They can work with other parties, and they can work with world leaders. So I think that J.D. Vance definitely demonstrated that. It was an interesting feng shui the way he did it, because like I said, he was very confident and forceful, but respectful. Yeah. Oh yeah, and he stood up a couple times on one thing too, when he I think I already mentioned it, but when the moderators tried to fact check him, he said, no, please. You said there was going to be no fact checking. You're fact checking me, so let me explain, please. And then he explained. Never lost it. Was always cool, calm, collected. And at the end of the debate, his wife came, took his hand. They shook hands with Tim Walz. They shook hands with the moderators. That was a wrap. Excellent job. Yeah. Vice Presidential Debate 2024. Hallelujah. Well, that about does it, folks, for another episode of Johnathan Ramcharan, the podcast. Till next time, folks. Hallelujah. It's your old chuckle buddy. Guess who? Johnathan James Ramcharan. Signing off from duty on this magnificent October 2nd in the year of our Lord, 2024. Yeah. Vice Presidential Debate 2024. JD Vance, Tim Walz. JD Vance dominated. He took the crown. Show is available Apple Podcast, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Rumble, Odyssey. And if you're enjoying the show, folks, please help my black ass out. Share me with a friend. Till next time, folks, you live it, you love it, you realize it. Aight? Peace.